So today, in this step, we're going to talk about how to remove the pump out of the 32RH. So you may recognize that I'm wearing different clothes and I'm in a different spot because in my other videos, I didn't video this step, and people asked about it, and I realized that was a pretty big miss on my part. So we're going to talk about how to pull this pump out because I've got a different transmission in a different Jeep that needs to do the same amount of work. So I'm going to pull the pump out, and then in another video, I'm going to, at the end of the series, I'm going to put the pump back in. So we're going to get all caught back up. Now, pulling the pump out is actually pretty straightforward. There's two different ways to do it. The easiest way, I find, is we're going to pull these bolts out and use a slide hammer to pull this thing out. But they make a pump puller that sort of clamps on here and works a little like a press where it pushes against this input shaft and will pull the pump out. It's like a $30 part or something like that on Amazon, or tool on Amazon. I don't have it. Slide hammer works good, and I just borrow the slide hammer from Autozone when I need it. Okay, all right, so there are 6 bolts that hold the pump in place, and they're a 13 millimeter does the trick. So, and they're not in super tight. Make sure you don't over torque when we put them back in. We're just going to run these off. So each of these bolts has a washer that comes with it. So you can see, so a washer comes with it. If you get a rebuild kit, usually it'll come with new washers. So I think they're called sealing washers. You want to hang on to those. Within the pump, there's 6 holes. 4 of the holes pass through the pump and thread into the case. 2 of them also have threads in the pump housing itself to accept what I believe is a 7/16 bolt, because we're going to use that to pull it up. So we're going to get the slide hammer and we're going to sort of go back and forth and pull this sucker up. There we go. So that wasn't too hard. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, and you can see I've already pulled the seal out of this one, but the pump on this one is trash, which is why we're doing this job. So, this comes out like that. That's the pump. Notice there's a thrust washer on the back here, don't lose it. We'll look at the sealing rings. We'll do a whole deal where we break this thing down. There's also a gasket. If you're lucky, it comes off like this. This is the first time I've ever been lucky. Usually it comes off in pieces around this layer in here. So anyway, that's the pump. We'll take it apart. We'll make sure we look at all the internals, make sure we're good, replace these sealing rings if we think we need to. Well, now I know why this thing was leaking so bad. That's supposed to be a solid O-ring that goes around the lip of the transmission. Yeah, I think we found the problem. Right, so I also want to take a second to mention that if you have some reason to pull out the pump, like for instance your seal's bad, the pump seal's bad, then you might not want to tear down the whole transmission. So what you can do in that case, this also applies if you want to like maybe relocate your vent, because the vent on a 32RH, see this hole right here? That's your transmission vent. If you ever get in deep water, this hole is going to get underwater and you're going to take water in your transmission. Then you really are going to have to watch my videos on how to rebuild it. So what some people do is they'll block this off and they'll relocate the vent on top, put a breather hose that goes up the firewall. So we're not going to do that in this Jeep because this Jeep's probably never going to see anything other than the mall parking lot. So it's my daughter's. So anyway, that's a reason why you might want to pull the pump without doing a full rebuild. If you are doing that, you will also want to do this, which is tighten down the band adjuster screw. So that's this right here. You'll loosen this nut and you will tighten this screw all the way down, and that's going to hold the drum in place so that nothing falls out of alignment when we take this pump out. I'm going to go ahead and take the lower parts out of this Jeep, this transmission anyway, so I'm not going to do that. But what you'll do is you'll take this nut all the way off and screw this all the way down, and that will hold the drum in place. And then when you're done, you'll do a band adjustment, right, which I've shown in some of my other videos.